one is dry.
Por la de ahora.
The gold is inside. Coffee jello, and this is her little card. I think we now know what these things are. I'm out of coffee. And we need coffee this morning. And it just so happens that yesterday we took this class. Now we know better. We're gonna get good coffee. I mean, obviously Chapanecan coffee because it's the best, but we're gonna use our newfound skills. I think we now know what these things are.
Oh, that is one of the words.
Mezcla.
So yesterday we took a coffee making class and she spoke a lot about the different coffees offered in CHIAPAS, types of roast, etc, etc. So I figured this morning I tried to buy something a little bit more sophisticated. Unfortunately, now that I'm here looking at all the labels and all the options, this seems a little harder than I thought. And mornings are for peace. So let's get the coffee and get back home.
Creo que este.
I will probably never be a coffee connoisseur, but it was fun trying to pick coffee thinking I kind of know what I'm doing, which I don't, but I'm a little bit more knowledgeable than I was yesterday. And this is Libre Cafe, one of our local roasters, and they always have a weekly language exchange meetup, which I've attended, which is really cool. So good coffee and fun.
Let's go try it.
So coffee is one of those things that is super comforting. I myself don't drink coffee every morning. I trade off between coffee and tea. But I find that warm drinks in general just have a cozy quality. They feel like a warm hug. So I thought it would be the perfect video to start off a series that I like to call San Cristobal Through My Eyes, in which I kind of take you and show you around this city that I've been in for a year and a half, because I realized that a lot of the tourists that come are taken by the tour companies to surrounding cities and not really shown the heart of San Cristobal de las Casas.
Good morning, sunshine. So I made my first cup in the class instead of my mug because I bought a new sock. Well, that's what I call it in Spanish. This is la media del café. Yeah, so I bought a new one. And this is my old one. But I bought this one when I first got here. So I've had her for a year and a half. And it's still perfect. Like, I didn't really need a new one. But for some reason, since it's all dyed with the coffee, I thought that I wouldn't be able to tell if it's moldy or not. It occurred to me, why don't I buy a new one? So I bought a new one. But I was afraid that maybe it had some sort of chemical or something that it would give off the first time. That's why I made it in the glass cup. Second brewing is gonna go into my mug. This is the coffee I usually buy at any supermarket. And today I'm trying one that has been roasted locally. It's from CHIAPAS, but Libre Cafe is a local roaster. So even though this is how I make my coffee every morning for many years, this is the most educated version of this cup of coffee I've ever made. Don't judge me, I like it with sugar. And usually a lot of sugar. And if you follow me, you know that because I always record myself putting sugar in my coffee. And drinking coffee in general, and I am so grateful to you guys for being so supportive of my channel and my coffee addiction. Thank you, Fernando. In essence, you gave me a warm hug today. If you're new to me, hi, my name is Karen. And my daughters and I have been traveling full-time for the past 5 years. And for the past year and a half, we've been using San Cristobal de las Casas, Mexico, as our home base. And there's the hug again. Very different than the one I usually drink. This one definitely has more layers of flavor, and the other one is just a little more sweet. Let's go back to yesterday so you can see what I'm talking about. Good morning, sunshine. We are running late because we decided to have coffee before going to a coffee making class. Regrets though, nothing better than coffee and pan dulce.
But this is Mexico, so being late doesn't really mean being late. It means more being on time.
¿No? ¿No quieres cariño? ¿Solo quieres proteger a tu mami? So we finally are about to do a coffee tasting experience.
a year and a half here. We had life. Life happened.
Yes, life
Friends were
happens.
made and etc.
And then now, like, life is changing and some of us are moving on. So we had to find a place and we got lucky that there's a new experience in town.
And Chepanik and coffee is worth it.
If coffee is a hug, learning and exploring together is kind of like our bonding.
Ay, qué lindo, qué rico huele. No,
Vamos a iniciar.
And since she's leaving, this is the perfect thing to do together.
We are asking about
So you're gonna be all my senses except my sight. Oh, so if I can't guess, I get a point? ¿Me da un punto a mí?
Sí. Mouthfeel, texture, no smells, and taste. But I can touch. Yeah, you can touch, you can taste, you can know whether you're feeling.
So it smells very fruity. It is moist in my hand, like sticky in my hand.
Sister, and is the turn of and
You know I'm gonna win this game, right?
Of course. She is the food. She's the
you're a foodie.
See, I am.
El tiempo.
This was the beginning of the class. She wanted to awaken all of her senses. She has a deep love for coffee, and look at that smile.
Listo. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, it's powdery and flaky, it's grainy, and has a lot of flavors that kind of like melt on your tongue. The answer was bouillon, but I translated it for her. So then I lost.
And we could not seem to get the game right. But it was entertaining.
Preserved. I mean, so it's a coffee flavor, but obviously everything here is a coffee flavor. So
No, ya va.
it's a soft.
It's coffee yellow.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she sells it on the street. ¿Por dónde?
En the Walkers.
¿Cuál
Los
andador?
andadores.
Cualquiera de los tres.
Sí, yo ahí camino.
So if you ever see her selling this on the andador, I recommend.
Let's be serious. Who would have thought that you couldn't say coffee when the answer is coffee? But then things got serious, and we learned so many little things that I had no idea. Like, who measures coffee? Really? That's a thing? I had no idea.
Subió a 18.1. Size and can't go back in this one.
Yeah.
Ah.
Maybe Karen should do this.
Only clothes.
One time for Christmas, we had just gotten like a clear one, so it was like fancy to do it for Christmas. And when I pressed it down, like the water came out shooting and it landed in my dad's stomach, and it burned my dad's whole stomach. Wait for 3 minutes for the French press.
Espíritu de
Yeah,
allá.
whatever I'm feeling at the time.
Bueno,
Yes, I make my coffee with my heart. Whatever flows that day is what goes. But she's teaching us better ways to control the actual flavor. I didn't know that. That's why sometimes I didn't like the coffee I made. It was all about the ratio
First, the aroma.
of coffee to water to time.
Then we put it in our mouth to taste the temperature with our tongue. It's hot.
You don't want to sit down. It's too hot. So yeah.
It's hot. And now we're gonna put it in our mouth, and while it's in our mouth, we're gonna exhale. So the aroma goes up the back of our nose, so we can smell it inside our sinuses. I'm not sure if I can smell anything. Very cool, bola de oro. The abuelito is called the bean bola de oro because once you peel it, the gold is inside, like a little package. So you developed your palate.
yeah, it's true. Y esto es porque la gruesa y estos no son capaces de retener. Similar.
This is using all our senses.
I only wet the particle.
So you think if it takes much longer than 8 minutes, not really.
So the first one is really fruity. The second one is more like toasty, and the second one has a little bit more of a toasty feel. Especially, well, she told us to use all our senses, so like on the tongue, you can really feel the second one versus the first one feels a little bit more fluid. The other one kind of rests in your tongue a lot longer.
you about how I burned my dad?
Yep.
Okay, so this is like 10 times worse.
Oh,
So you have to be very, very careful when you press it down.
Wait. Okay. Keep going. Sorry. Listen, I'm nervous about coffee. We're at 67, 71, 72, 4, 70, 76, 78. Stop. Okay. Am I good?
Ya, tenemos los aceites esenciales, ven.
Qué lindo color.
Sí.
What do you think of the last one?
It's a much stronger flavor than I'm used to, for sure. Still good, but yeah, just a little bit strong.
So what she's explaining is that production countries like Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, that they grab their best beans and their best product and they ship it out. So that's how Café de Olla was born. They were left with the not so good beans, so they would add cinnamon and panela and anise and cloves to alter the flavor to make it more palatable. Of course, now they make it with good quality beans. And all of this is something that I will share with you in the next video on the series.
O sea, porque ya no vas a cambiar la forma en cómo lo haces o en cómo tradicionalmente lo consumes, pero tú puedes dar el chance de hacerlo con café de alta especialidad o bien procesado.
This is Coffee Jello and this is her little cart. Thank you, Anne.
Oh, perfect experience. Very glad to have met her and gone.
So I feel like we got so lucky because one of the things that I found so interesting about San Cristobal is that the people that teach classes here all have this deep desire for whatever it is that they're teaching. Not only does she consider herself a barista, but also an artisan, and not any kind of artisan, but as she described it, the kind of artisan that like they have a passion for what they do, like they feel it in their soul. Dive deep into the process of everything that they, like every single part of the experience, right? Like it matters where the bean comes from, how it's processed, the people that process it. She shared with us the name of each person that was in the picture, like doing each part of the process, of the coffee making process. Not only did she spend 5 years of her life being a barista, but then she moved to Chiapas specifically because of her love for coffee, to do more research on the process and to get to know people in the area that could teach her new things. And she's been in Chiapas for 3 to 4 years, learning as much as she could before teaching this class or offering this experience. We made a quick pit stop at Raiz because she recommended it as one of the local coffee roasters that she liked. Unfortunately, they were out of coffee to buy, so we decided to stay and eat and try the jello that we bought from her. I would say it has condensed milk in it, but it tastes like cold brew. Like out of all the coffees she gave us. I think so. I dipped into the bottom part and it, like a little bean came out. Being inside the bottom part, it's like chewy. The jello at the bottom tastes more like espresso. The jello on the top tastes more like cold brew. And then the café con leche situation that's happening has condensed milk. And there's like hidden gems of goodness. There's little like coffee beans throughout the bottom, which are kind of like chewy. So texturally, it's fabulous. You got 3 different textures, maybe 4. And the flavors too, because every bite that you take tastes a little bit different. So I know food isn't coffee, but I can't just not share with you. So we have some sort of biscuit on the bottom, then a poached egg, and then on top, it's like a meaty mixture of flavorful. I would say that the meat has maybe some sort of spinach or something like a green leafy vegetable like that. Delicious. It totally balances out. The bread is a little soggy because it's like sitting on top of the sauce, but the combination of the sauce with the meat and the vegetables is delicious. All right, the egg was perfectly poached. There are tons of coffee roasters in San Cristobal de las Casas. In fact, some of the restaurants, you might not be able to tell a roaster on coffee, but do. One of my favorites is probably Yik, and Yik has 5 locations. They offer coffee made with an espresso machine, café de olla, roast and package in-house. 3 of the locations are on an andador with a second floor that offers a beautiful view. But my favorite part is that you can get desayuno económico for 61 pesos that gives you 3 options and is always bomb. But on the Guadalupe andador alone, you can find Cafeología, which also offers coffee demonstrations, Tostador, which also has different branches, Carajillo, and if you go towards the Zócalo, you'll find El Grano. Some of them even offer really cool coffee experiences, like Kimul, which has several contraptions that make coffee. And there are many more, and there's always something new to explore. And the coffee experiences in San Cristobal de las Casas don't really stop there. That's why I want to show you Café de Olla in the next video. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this one. And I hope you have new things to see and experience in San Cristobal de las Casas. Love you. Bye.